Hi there. If you're launching SMS marketing for your e-commerce store, you are doing the right thing, number one, and number two, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how to start doing SMS marketing in your Klaviyo account. I can talk a lot about how it's a great idea that you're doing both email and SMS from one platform. There are numerous benefits of doing that, but if you're here, you're already doing that, so give yourself a pat on the back because you are awesome. If you're new here, my name is Kasey. I run Luck & Co agency, where we help 7- and 8-figure e-commerce brands maximize their revenue from email and SMS marketing. So me and my team, we do this all day, every day, and I am so excited to share this with you. Again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. This helps us a ton. And also give a thumbs up to this video. This helps us a ton as well. All right, without further ado, let's dive right in. I'm in my Klaviyo account. It's kind of like this dummy account that where we save a lot of our stuff. So it's not an actual live account, but it's connected to a dummy Shopify store that I also have. So we'll be able to do everything we need to in this account, and I'm going to be showing you everything that I do. The first thing that you want to do is go to your account on the right-hand side and then choose settings and then go to SMS settings. This is where we're going to start. The very first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a sending number, and it has to be a verified number. So it looks like I already have a verified number in my account. And in the last few accounts that we've set up SMS marketing in, for our brands, our clients, it was also already verified and active. So I don't know if Klaviyo started doing this automatically. If you don't see a verified and active phone number here, what you need to do is you need to request it. And once you request it, that process can take up to 7 to 10 days. So make sure that you went into your SMS settings and checked whether this number is there for you. If it wasn't there, that you requested it way ahead of when you actually plan to launch SMS marketing. So that's step number one. Make sure that you have a verified and active sending number. You will see that it says the type of number is complimentary toll-free. That's all you need to start with. Something that some brands choose to do is to also have a sender ID. That is kind of like a more fancy sending number that's alphanumeric. You need to be paying a lot more for that number. It's like a monthly fee that you're paying just for the number. So once you're there, when you're ready for that, go and figure this out as well. But to start with, it's nothing that you need to be worrying about. Most brands send from a free complimentary toll-free number. Okay, from here, let's just scroll down this page and take care of all of the SMS settings. So SMS message add-ons, your organizational prefix, that's the kind of the from name for all of your SMS messages. You want to make sure that it's your brand name. So for me, it's Luck & Co. For you, it will be your brand name. And then opt-out language, that you set it up once in these settings, and then you'll have a simple toggle on and off for each message that you create later on that will allow you to either add or remove this from each message. So by default, it says text stop to opt out. I actually prefer to write to unsubscribe, and it's very important to spell this correctly. I once misspelled this. And then you click Update SMS Message add-ons. The reason I like to change the wording there to unsubscribe is right here. When you look at keyword management and compliance keywords, you'll see that there are different keywords that people can text that will act as commands. And so there are a number of words that unsubscribe people from SMS marketing. And those words include stop, stop all, unsubscribe, cancel, and quit. So before, when we had text stop to opt out, a lot of people would text not the word stop, but they would text opt out. And their intention is to unsubscribe, but because opt out is not a keyword that unsubscribes people, nothing would happen. So now I do text stop to unsubscribe, and whether they reply with stop or if they reply with unsubscribe, they will be unsubscribed because both of those words are keywords that enable unsubscription. So there's nothing for you to do in this area. Oh, I think you can customize most of these messages, but you don't really need to. This is just kind of FYI. These are all of the keywords that are available to you and your subscribers, so just be aware of them. And then you can add more subscribe keywords. So join is a default subscribe word. You can add more if you need to. Unless you have a specific plan, you don't really need to worry about. So let's just keep scrolling. Quick responses that you will later be able to use to reply to people's replies to you. So again, nothing to worry about right now. Mobile terms of service. This is something that Klaviyo started offering recently, legally, when you create an opt-in or pop-up collecting phone numbers for SMS marketing, you have to link to terms of service where people can check out like how you're using their phone number and stuff like that. Most of the time, you can just link to the terms of service on your website because all e-commerce websites, all Shopify websites have that. But if you want to take advantage of this, Klaviyo just offers this. You can just click here and create mobile terms of service. They kind of like walk you through this, make it super easy for you, and then you can link to that. This is a very, very great feature, so make sure you use that if you don't have a customized terms of service on your website that you worked on with your legal department or with your lawyer. Okay, so now we're getting to interesting stuff that we can actually customize, SMS sending settings. And the first thing is smart sending period. Smart sending period is this thing that you can toggle on and off for any message that you send. For example, if the smart sending period is 24 hours and I have smart sending on for a message, that means that when that message is sent, Klaviyo will check all of the recipients and people who received another text message from me from Klaviyo, whether that's a flow message or a campaign message, if they received another message within the last 24 hours, this one that I'm scheduling right now won't be sent to those people. This ensures that people don't get too many messages from you. And there is a smart sending period for email as well. It's set in email settings. If you don't have that set up, make sure you go and set that up. I think by default, Klaviyo sets that at 16 hours for email messages. And then for SMS, it's 24 hours. I find 24 hours a little bit too long, especially in cases where people sign up for SMS marketing from your brand for the first time and receive a welcome message. And then let's say you have a campaign scheduled the next day. I kind of would want my people to get that first campaign sooner rather than later. And so just in my opinion, 24 hours is a lot. So I would change that to 12 to 16 hours. Well, a golden middle, 14 hours. I just say 14 hours. The next thing here is SMS quiet hours. So this limits when you send your SMS flow messages. So for each flow message, you will see a simple toggle on and off for quiet hours. And then if the quiet hours are on, that flow message won't go out to people if it's if it's due to go out during those quiet hours. And the quiet hours are figured out by Klaviyo automatically at these particular times to fit all of the different time zones. So like a lot of thought went into this, so I typically don't touch this unless you have like a special case scenario. If not, just leave it as is. I'm going to click Update SMS Sending Settings just because I changed my smart sending period, and then move on. The next one on the list is tracking settings. So SMS conversion window. This is something that's going to have a lot of effect on your performance, not the actual performance, but the way you see performance in your Klaviyo dashboards. There is a lot to know about how attribution works, but one of the most important things in attribution and how Klaviyo attributes revenue to different messages sent out of Klaviyo is based on that attribution window. So when the attribution window is 24 hours, what that means is if a message was sent and then the person received it and then placed an order within 24 hours of receiving that message, the revenue from that order will be attributed to this message. And when you open your dashboard, when you open your campaign, you will see, oh, like plus $100 from this message. Something that's important to know for a lot of brands and e-commerce owners, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, but all of the different marketing tools and marketing platforms use vastly different marketing attribution windows. And so, for example, one of Klaviyo's SMS competitors, Attentive, I believe that their attribution window is a lot bigger than 24 hours. And so if you look at your attentive numbers, attentive attributed revenue, it's going to be a lot more than Klaviyo. That's not because your SMS messages are working better when they're sent out of attentive. It's just because attentive counts revenue made from people who received that SMS, not within 24 hours, but 48 or even 5 days sometimes. And then there's another tool called SMS Bump. And I know that their attribution windows are all the way up to 7 days, which is crazy. Like you can argue whether it's fair to assume if somebody received an SMS message and then made a purchase within 7 days, whether like in 7 days they're going to remember that SMS message. I don't think so. So by default, Klaviyo says 24 hours is our attribution window, but you can change it to anything else. I wouldn't recommend making it shorter, but you might think about making it a little bit longer if you think it's fair to assume that kind of like that SMS message has an effect within 2 days of a person receiving it. The next section here is company information. It's not something that you need to worry about. It really doesn't affect anything that much. I know that there is a special anti-spam legislation in Canada. So if your primary market is Canada, you may want to create a custom company info page for recipients in Canada, in which case Klaviyo has a hyperlink here to do that. And then finally, the last thing here is importing SMS subscribers. So if you have SMS subscribers to import from other platforms, Attentive, SMS Bump, anything else, this is where you do that. But once you're done with that, we're done with the very first stage of setting up your SMS marketing in Klaviyo. So give yourself a thumbs up and give this video a thumbs up as well if this is being helpful so far. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you guys is SMS conversations. And this is not something that's typically included in the SMS setup tutorials or checklists online, but I think it's super important. So once you start sending SMS messages to your subscribers, SMS subscribers, one really cool thing about this channel is that it's so two-way street, so to speak, so people can easily respond to any message that you send. Of course, that's true about email marketing as well, but it's more true and it's more real, and it's just easier to do with SMS messages, with text messages. So once you start sending SMS messages to your subscribers, you will get a lot of replies. Well, if you're doing something right or if you're doing something terribly wrong, but you will get some replies. And it's important to understand how to manage them. And it's also important to appoint a person who will do that at your company. So whether that's you, if your company is small right now, or it's your colleague, or if you have outsourced customer support reps, then they should be handling these responses, but you have to train them on how to handle SMS conversations. So in Klaviyo on the left-hand side, you have SMS conversations, and you will have an inbox of all or unread messages. You can also archive messages, in which case the messages will go to this archived pile. And if you click on the settings icon right here, there are a few different settings that you want to go through. Number one, you want to automatically shorten your links. That's fine. I think that's a default thing. Email notification. So if you also want to receive an email notification each time that a person responds to your SMS with an SMS, then toggle this on and include an email address where those SMS replies will be sent to. You may want to create a separate inbox for this, or just create kind of like a folder within your inbox so that these replies get automatically sorted out and don't clutter your inbox too much. Then one of the most important things here is your SMS autoresponder. What this means is when a person replies to your message, if you want them to automatically send them an SMS message saying something like, hey, somebody will get back to you very soon. Because normally, like when people reply, well, not normally, but a lot of times they have a question. So they may reply and say, hey, what's up with my order? Or, hey, how do I actually use this coupon code? And because even if you have a person who is monitoring this and getting back to people, those responses will probably not be instant. And so for these cases, you want to have an autoresponder that says, hey, thank you so much for your message. We actually prefer to, we're faster at getting to you through email. So if you have a question, make sure that you email us at blah, blah, blah. The typical response that we have here is, thank you for reaching out to us. If you have questions regarding your order or customer service, please contact orders at brand name And then you always want to include stop to unsubscribe in case people want to unsubscribe. And those are all of the settings. You just click save here, and then you're done with step number 2, and that is setting up your SMS conversation. Actually, sorry, you're not fully done yet. I wanted to show you how to actually respond to people. So once you click on any of the conversations, you can see the whole history of conversations, you can see their responses, and you can get back to people directly from here. Another way to do it is if you use Gorgeous for your customer support. Klaviyo SMS and Gorgeous have a native integration. So if you integrate those two systems, all of your SMS responses from people will go directly to Gorgeous. And so your customer support person can handle them from there. I know Klaviyo also is planning to do a similar integration with Zendesk. So that's on their roadmap. But if you're not using any of those customer support platforms, you just go directly into SMS conversations and get back to everybody right here. And that's super easy and convenient as well. So now you're done with step number 2, and we're ready for step number 3. All right, step number 3 of setting up SMS marketing in Klaviyo is creating a 2-step pop-up. Now that you're collecting phone numbers in addition to email addresses, you want to adjust your pop-up, your sign-up form, to be doing exactly that. I have a great video, it's one of the most popular videos on this channel about creating a form in Klaviyo. So if you've never created a form before, make sure you go and watch that video. It's a lot more detailed. In this part of this video, I'm going to show you specifically how to add a step to your pop-up that collects phone numbers. So the first thing you do is click Create Sign Up Form. And then here you want to do email and numbers, check mark. And you will see the presets that Klaviyo gives you for this type of collection. You actually see that all of these pop-ups that you're seeing, they're 2-step, which means step 1, you're collecting email address. Step 2, you're collecting a phone number. An alternative to that is to put the email address and the phone number right on top of each other in a single step. So there's just one step that people see. And the thing with that is that it's actually less effective to ask for 2 things at the same time than to ask for 1 thing at a time. If you research any conversion rate optimization reports about forms, you'll see that the more fields you have in a form, the less people actually respond. So the less your completion rate will be. So it's just kind of like common knowledge in the conversion optimization space. But we've also A/B tested this directly, and we've A/B tested forms that include 2 fields on the same form, and then kind of like a step-by-step, and the step-by-step always won. So just save some time, increase your conversion rates, and do a 2-step pop-up. I'm going to grab this one, and just let's call it test YouTube video. And you want to select your email list for this, for when people sign up for the email list, and then your list for SMS subscribers as well. So actually, the first thing that we should be doing is we should be creating the SMS subscribers list. I already have it here, but we're going to do that in just a second. So let's click Create Form. What you do here is you optimize all of this stuff, make sure that you click on the button, you make sure that it's connected to the list that you want it to be connected to, and then the thing you do is you click on this second step, SMS opt-in, and you optimize this step. So make sure that like all of these highlighted things, they're edited to what they need to be. Remember, I told you that you will be forced to have a privacy policy and the terms of service link. That is a legal requirement for all SMS phone number collection for SMS marketing. So you have to do it, no way around it. I know this whole huge block of thing is very annoying. One thing that I would do actually here is phone number should come first. Let's do this. And then you can have this like long block of text with all of the legal requirements. So let's change the button here to I'm in. And then phone number, and then here you again just double check that your list to submit as your SMS subscribers, that's the list you want. Okay, that's great. Excellent. Then you want to check the success message and make sure it's what you want it to be. Of course, if I were creating this form for my brand, I would be optimizing and customizing a lot of this stuff. But for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just showing you the most important settings. So for the SMS screen, you do want that legal block of text below your form and below your button. You want that button as high up as possible. And then the last thing that you want to, the last important thing that you want to be checking in this form is targeting and behavior. So make sure that the display timing, the display frequency, the devices, all of this stuff is set up in the way that you want it to. Again, if you've never done this before, that other video that I have about Klaviyo pop-ups explains this in a lot of detail. So go watch that one if you need help with this email and SMS form setup. And then when you're ready to publish this, you click publish and then it goes live. One other thing that's important to know about SMS collection is that it can actually be very different on desktop and mobile. Because when you're asking for a phone number on desktop, people have to type it in. There's no other way around it. When you're asking for a phone number on a phone, there is another way around it, and I'm going to show you what it is. So let's do this. And in Klaviyo, these types of forms are called mobile-only two-tap discount, or they call it a two-tap thing, mobile-only two-tap thing. So you'll see that here. So let's click it. Let's select our email list in this case, and then create form. And then I'm just going to skip the email step because we're primarily interested in the SMS step. And so here for the SMS step, you will see that there's no field to type in your phone number. Actually, I'm going to do the same exact thing I did in the last form. I'm going to move that button higher up so that that legal block of text is way under. And so sign up for text. Here's what happens. Become a VIP. Of course, you will want to modify all of this copy. But here's what happens. Clicking on this button, you will see that this form is now set to display on mobile devices only, and subscribers will be routed to the list set on the subscribe keyword. So basically, when people see this and they click this button, sign up for text, what happens is they're redirected to the SMS messages, to the text messages app on their phone. So like messages for iPhones and whatever it is for Androids. And then there will be a pre-built message for them that will say, and this is where you can customize it, text join to sign up for text. So that message will be like pre-written for them. All they will have to do is click send. And then when they send, that subscribes them to the list. And so what this does is, as you saw, people never, like the person going through this experience, never had to actually type in their phone number. Supposedly, this is supposed to make the sign-up experience on mobile easier. And for a while there, we were just going with it. And then I decided to A/B test it and actually see. Obviously, we were only A/B testing this for mobile experiences and see if people like really hated typing in their phone number and preferred this way of signing up. And I actually saw that the conversion rate for the form where people had to type in their form, even when it was on mobile, had a higher conversion rate. We've only A/B tested this twice for 2 different brands. So I don't know how conclusive those results are. Maybe it's something that you want to A/B test for yourself, or if you're just convinced that this is a much better experience, like go ahead with it. I wanted you to know that there is this option for you. If you went with this option, remember that this only works for mobile experiences, so you will have to have a separate form that's desktop only, and you'll just be able to, in the settings here, in the devices, this one is set to mobile only. You will want to have another one that's desktop only, and this way you're showing a pop-up on both desktop and mobile. Okay, so with this, you're done with pop-ups, but there's another type of form that you want to create when you do SMS marketing. And that form is called embedded form. So let's click on create forms again. And then over here, instead of all types, let's just do embed. And let's choose a very, very simple one. How about this? Oh, I guess you need to do phone numbers here. Okay, so if you select collect phone numbers, you're only left with one. Let's do this one, and let's call it embed. And again, you need to choose your SMS subscriber list as the list that this is linking to, and then create form. So this form will live on a very simple landing page, and you can create that landing page directly from your Shopify or whatever shopping platform you use. It's very important to have this because the primary way in which you will be growing your SMS subscriber list at the beginning is through your email subscribers. So we will be sending an email to your existing subscribers saying, hey guys, we have great news. We launched our SMS list. People on the SMS list get early access to all of the cool stuff, to all of the sales, product launches and stuff like that. And we will also be running SMS exclusive deals and sales every single month. So if you want to be on the insider list, join our SMS list right now. And when you do that, when you send that email, you will need to link somewhere and provide people a way to actually join your SMS list. So what we're going to do is we're going to link to this landing page, and that landing page will have this embedded form. So that's what we're creating right now. So this is an example of an embedded form already embedded on a landing page. It says join the VIP club, and then we've got a little kind of text explaining why people would want to do that, a phone number field, and a button let's text. So that's what we're going for. And then only all of this is the stuff that we're able to edit right here from the Klaviyo embedded form interface. So just like in the pop-ups, I want to move this up. And then I want to move this up as well so that this text is below. And then again, you just optimize, customize all of this text, all of these colors and buttons, and of course, add the links for the legal part. And then a very, very important part here is you go to targeting and behavior, and you want to make sure that you're showing this on desktop and mobile, and that you want to be showing it to all profiles. And this is extremely important. By default, Klaviyo does different settings, but because it's a form that's displayed on the web page and there's nothing else on that web page, if you're hiding this form from particular views, you will end up having people come to that page and not see anything, like it will be an empty page. So you want to avoid that. And the way to avoid it is make sure that this form is showing to everybody everywhere. So that's what we just did with these settings, show to all subscribers and show on mobile and desktop. And then what you do is you publish this. And when you do, Klaviyo will give you this short little code. All you do is grab this code, create a very simple Shopify page, or in whichever shopping platform you are, create a very simple page and then embed this form at the very top. And there you go. This should be a matter of 5 to 10 minutes and you'll have this beautiful page for SMS subscription on your website. With this, you are done with this step of creating forms, pop-ups, and embedded forms. So pat yourself on the back, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. This really, really helps us a ton. And let's go to the next stage of setting up your lists and segments. SMS lists and segments in Klaviyo. So the first thing I want to do is go to list and segments on the left right here in my Klaviyo account. And the important thing to know about lists when it comes to SMS marketing is that same question that you kind of have with email as well, of double opt-in versus single opt-in. As a reminder, single opt-in means that as soon as people subscribed, they're immediately on your list. Double opt-in means people subscribe, you send them a confirmation message saying, hey, you sure you want to subscribe? Were you the one who clicked subscribe? Reply yes to be subscribed. And so people have to reply and confirm their subscription before they're actually on the list. So that's like an extra layer to make sure that the quality of your list is high. The way you decide whether you want to have double opt-in versus single opt-in is look back at those forms that you just created and see whether there's a 2-tap mobile subscription thing that we just did. Because with the mobile only 2-tap subscription, where people don't actually have to type in their phone number, they send a message directly from their phone number to subscribe, there's actually no way for them to mess up that phone number. You see, when you are typing in your phone number, you may make a mistake, and probably 10% of people do mistype their phone number and either subscribe someone else or just kind of subscribe a dead phone number. With that mobile-only 2-tap thing, there's no opportunity for that. So there's kind of no point in double opt-in, in which case you want to create a single opt-in list. Here's how you do that. You go and click Create List, select List over here. Let's call it SMS subscribers, single opt-in. Create. Once the list is created, go to List Settings, scroll down and change double opt-in to single opt-in, and then update. That's it. The thing is, if you have the mobile-only 2-tap thing, 2-tap pop-up, because it's mobile only, you will also have to have a desktop pop-up that kind of does require people to type their phone number. In which case, I do recommend the double opt-in process, just because people do mistype their thing sometimes, and some people may subscribe for SMS marketing without realizing they did. So you kind of to avoid deliverability issues and to avoid a lot of people unsubscribing or people subscribing wrong people, which also will result in unsubscribing, you want to create a double opt-in process. And the way you do that is you go through all of the same steps. Again, you create a list. Let's call this one SMS subscribers double opt-in. Click Create. And then let's go to Settings and just make sure that it's set to double opt-in, which it is, and that's it. And then the next thing that you will come to realize that if you have 2 different lists for SMS subscribers, it's actually going to be a little bit, not challenging, but more complex to manage when you send campaigns, because once you send campaigns, you kind of just want to set one list or one segment that you send it to, and don't have to continuously have to remember that, hey, I have 2 lists. So to mitigate this, not obstacle, but this situation, what I like to do is I like to create a segment, and let's call it SMS subscribers segment. And the definition for the segment is whether somebody is consented to receive SMS or not. Person is consented to receive SMS, and let's just create the segment. And so this segment will pull everybody in your Klaviyo account who has consented to receive SMS, and those will be all of the people who you are able to send SMS campaigns to. And that will be all you will need to have. So I don't have anybody on this list here yet, just because I haven't actually started SMS for this particular account. But once, if you're just starting out, you will also have an empty one. But once you have it, that's the one you will be using for everything. Okay, so now you have 2 lists and 1 segment. We want to go back to our forms and just make sure that all of the forms that kind of that include the person typing in the phone number, they link to the double opt-in list. And the 2-tap mobile-only form links to the single opt-in form. So let's do that real quick. So this is the embedded form. This is the mobile-only 2-tap thing. And this is the regular form, or the desktop form. Okay, so over here, let's click on the button. That's the one that lets us choose the list. And here we want to do SMS subscribers double opt-in, and then click Publish or Save right here. Now let's go to this mobile-only 2-tap form. Click on the button, and this was the master list. In this case, we're going to do single opt-in because people are not typing in their phone number. It doesn't matter. Oops, actually, sorry. This is the email step. So this should still link to the master list because that's where I want my email subscribers. On step 2, SMS opt-in, here we click on a button. And here, is there a way to do this? choose a keyword, join, text join, button font. Interesting. Looks like we can't actually choose a list where this goes to. Well, all the better that we created that segment. Okay, so that's important to know. And then you click publish to save. And then let's go back to this regular form, which now we should only be showing on desktop since we have a separate form for mobile. And here, let's also go to second step, click on the button and do double opt-in for these subscribers. Okay, so now you're done with this step of SMS setup, and we're ready to go to the next one. The next step of the SMS setup in Klaviyo is to link your Shopify checkout form to your Klaviyo SMS. And if you're using something else than Shopify, just make sure that you do the same steps for your shopping platform. They probably have instructions. If you just Google like Magento, SMS, Collection Klaviyo, or BigCommerce or anything like that, you will find easy instructions there, but they will generally look very similar to Shopify. So when you're in Klaviyo, go to your integrations and then go to enable integrations and choose your Shopify integration and then view settings. Once you click view settings, you will need to scroll down a little bit and you should already have a check mark over here next to email subscribers. Now you should click this check mark under SMS subscribers. That says collect SMS subscribers, and then you will be able to choose a list to link this to, and you want to be choosing your double opt-in list. Double opt-in, I mean, this is up to you. You could use a single opt-in. I do recommend double opt-in. Sync customer SMS subscription status to Shopify. I think Klaviyo recommends to check this, so you can check this one. Update Shopify customer profiles with Klaviyo data. Basically, again, Klaviyo recommends that you check this. I usually leave this unchecked. And then you click update settings. It will take you to Shopify, kind of reconfirm things. And then you just update app over here. You're taken back to Klaviyo and you're good to go. There we go. So that's not it though. Now you need to go into your Shopify settings. This is the dummy Shopify account that I have. And go to settings at the bottom here and then go to checkout. And then in checkout, you will need to, I usually just do a search for SMS. Here, consent for marketing. Let customers subscribe to marketing methods at checkout. By default, you're only having email marketing over here. So what you want to do if you don't have a check mark over here next to SMS marketing, you want to add that. And once you've done that, click save. All good. All right, so once you've done that, you want to go back to your website and see if this is actually working. You want to test this out. So this is the dummy Shopify account that I have. I'm just choosing a product, adding it to cart, and then going to my cart and starting a checkout. And so what I'm looking for is that I'm actually given that choice to add stuff, to subscribe to the SMS list. And so this is this option. You see this check mark, text me with news and offers. If I check this, I'm given an option to input my phone number. And then once I click continue to shipping, which you should do as you're testing this, that should add your phone number to Klaviyo. And so at that time, you will receive either the welcome message or the confirmation message, depending on whether you've chosen single opt-in or double opt-in. So once that's working, and again, if it's not working, you should be troubleshooting on two different fronts within Klaviyo integration settings right here. Make sure that this checkbox is here and then your integration is updated. And then the second check is in your Shopify settings, in the checkout settings. So if you've done everything correctly, then all of this is good to go. And you're done with this step and ready to go to the next one. The next step in setting up your SMS marketing in Klaviyo is making sure that you have automated SMS messages. And there are three types of automated SMS messages that you want to have. If you already have all of your email flows, you will probably just be adding messages to your existing flows. But here are the three flows: your welcome flow, your abandoned checkout flow, and your post-purchase flow. I'm going to show you how to create 2 of these, and then the third one will be easy enough to figure out. So for your welcome flow, what I like to do is to actually set it up as a separate flow from your email flow, and that is because your trigger will be slightly different. So I'm just going to create one from scratch and call it SMS welcome. I'm not going to tag it. Let's create flow. And as the trigger, you want to select a metric and just search for consented to receive SMS and then click done. That's it. So the trigger is that the person consented to receive SMS. And then from here, don't have any delay. Don't add any delay and create your SMS message to be sent out immediately. Quiet hours, I like to turn off right here because if the person just signed up to receive SMS from you, they will want to see the welcome message right then and there. They're not asleep if they're doing that, if they're triggering this flow. And then I also want to turn off the smart sending. If it's their first message, it's not going to matter anyway, but I just want to make sure that this welcome message does go out to the person once they subscribe. So any type of hurdles on that way, I want to avoid. So let's configure content from here. And that's going to be, hey, you are now a VIP SMS subscriber. And then let's do clapping. Let's do a clapping emoji. Hey, you're now a VIP email subscriber. You'll be the first one to hear about special deals and product launches. As a thank you, use this coupon for 15% off. And then you will add your coupon. I'm just going to say placeholder, shop here. And then let's have the URL of my shop. Shop here. And then what I like to do is, you see how there is this message for unsubscribing that's added automatically. I just like to add one space at the end of the message so that it adds this kind of space before the unsubscription message. So make sure that you go to the compliance tab on the right and see all of the options that you've got here. You've got your option for hiding and showing organizational prefix. Remember, we were setting that up right at the beginning of this video. So I just recommend always having this on because you want people to know who that SMS message is coming from. So just keep it on at all times. Company info link, this is a Canadian thing. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. And then for consent, you will always want to include the instructions to unsubscribe. And we definitely have clients, brands who are like, hey, let's not show the unsubscribe message in every single SMS that we send. I recommend having it. If people want off your list, they should have an easy way to be off your list. And your job is to keep your SMS messages so engaging and so amazing that nobody will want to unsubscribe. So just include your unsubscribe instructions in every message. And once you're done with this, you can send yourself a preview. Just type in your phone number over here and send yourself a preview. And then once everything looks good, just save content. And now make sure that you turn this from draft to live and you're good to go. So that's your welcome message. The second message that you want to create is your abandoned checkout message. So for the abandoned checkout SMS message, you will actually want to go into your existing abandoned checkout flow where you have all of your emails and add your SMS there. Because in my opinion, it's just much easier to kind of gauge the timing and see all of the messages within the same wireframe. And frankly, that's one of the benefits of having both email and SMS on the same platform, is that it's so easy to understand your customer journey as they go through all of your different communication methods. So over here, let's just pretend this is our abandoned checkout flow. I'm going to add, so we're waiting 2 hours, and then over here we're doing a split based on whether this is a first-time customer or returning customer. So I will do this. I'm going to add an SMS message right here. And then I'm going to add another time delay over here and wait 45 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. And then if person still didn't make a purchase from this SMS, then they receive that first email. And that's still a good time frame because the time delay over here was just 2 hours. Okay, so just like in the welcome message, I want to turn the smart sending off just because this message is important, even if they receive the welcome message like in the last 12 hours and then started a checkout and abandoned checkout, I still want people to receive this SMS message. So that's the logic and the thinking behind turning off the smart sending. And then quiet hours, I guess it's still good to have quiet hours on because what if they're shopping at night and then like they started a checkout at midnight, they didn't complete it and then went to bed. And if we send them an SMS in 2 hours, that's like 2 a.m. That's not good. So I'm keeping the quiet hours on for this one. Let's configure content and do hey. And then this is where you always want to include the first name into the message because by default, when people start a checkout in Shopify, at least in Shopify, it might be different in other shopping platforms, they give you their first name. So if they're in this flow, you have their first name. You just want to make sure that you still have a default in case there is no first name, but there always will be. So I'm going to say, hey name. I'm going to put a super cheesy message right now just for the sake of speed, but you will want to make sure that you customize this. We saved your cart because it was a good one. Make sure you check out and take this home before it sells out. And you wanna add media, dynamic image. Okay, so we want to be adding 2 dynamic properties here. We want to add an image of the product that they've abandoned, and we also want to add the link that links people directly to their checkout. All right, so I just had to look up those 2 things, but I've got them here for you. Finish my order. Finish your order makes more sense here. So I just had to switch my accounts because my dummy account didn't have enough events in order to be able to preview this stuff. But these are the links that you want to be using. So for checkout, you want to be using kind of the exact same link that you're using in your emails. So just like go to your emails and check what that link is. If you don't have emails yet, just pause this video and check out this link that I'm using here. And then for image, you want to click on the image and then use dynamic image. And then again, just copy that code that you have in your emails for the image preview and input it right here. And so when you do, you'll be able to preview this message in the exact same way that you want your subscribers to see it. So in this case, Rick, he abandoned this particular product. So he receives the message with that product right there, which of course increases the conversion rate of this message by a lot. If you send yourself a preview and then go through that link should take you directly to the checkout form as opposed to the product page or the home page or anything like that. So in your abandoned checkout message, make sure that you're linking directly to your checkout form. And this is true for both SMS messages and the email messages as well. So that's the second flow that you want to have. And honestly, the welcome flow and abandoned checkout flow, just the 2 of them together, they are already amazing. If you only have those 2, that's great. But then the third flow where you can add SMS messages and they can be really effective is your post-purchase flow. So things that I like to do in the post-purchase flow is I like to send an SMS message either right after they place an order or within 1 day. And kind of like reinforce the gratitude and say, hey, thanks so much for joining our community and becoming a customer and stuff like that. And then provide the next step that they should be taking to, that would kind of like bring the most value to them and the company. That would like reinforce how much value they're getting from you. So for example, If you have a rewards program, that's a very important call out for a post-purchase SMS message. So say, hey Kasey, thank you so much for purchasing from us yesterday. We're so excited to have you in our community. Did you know that you can refer friends and get discounts? Here's the link to find out more. And then if you have a referral program, you just link people there and then they can go through the process of referring other people. So think of ways that would help you engage your new customers in the best way to ensure their retention later on, and do that in your post-purchase SMS message. Another example is like simply linking to your Instagram community or TikTok or like wherever your customers aggregate and receive the most value from the community and your brand. That's where you wanna kind of link people to. So you're done with this step, and it was a very important one because as soon as you turn on that SMS marketing, you wanna make sure that at least some of your messages are automated, and you're fully done with that now, so great job. On to the next step. The next step in setting up your SMS marketing in Klaviyo is creating an email campaign that will invite your existing email subscribers to the SMS list. And honestly, this step is not really required. If you've done all of the previous steps, you can skip this one and go to the next one and just turn on your SMS marketing and upgrade your account. But as I mentioned earlier on in the video, the best source for your new SMS subscribers, especially at the beginning, will be your existing email subscribers. So what you wanna do is you wanna prepare an email campaign that will say, hey guys, we just launched this new cool thing, you should join because XYZ, you get all of these benefits, go join now. Make sure that you link that email to that embedded form, the page with the embedded form that we just created earlier on in this video. And then obviously, first turn on the SMS marketing and then schedule your campaign. But you want to send this campaign to either all of your email subscribers or the most engaged email subscribers, and in most definitely your customers, because your existing customers are already kind of like they've made the investment. They're the most engaged people on your list. They will have the most interest in being on your SMS list. And then of course, in the message of your email, make sure that you hype it up and you like really explain the benefits of being on that SMS list. It's not enough to just say, hey, like we have this SMS list, join. You have to tell people why. And good reasons are, number one, early access to sales. And then of course, follow up on that. And whenever you have a sale, do the SMS announcement first, one day earlier than the email announcement. Reason number two to be on the SMS list is early access to product launches, which is especially great if the product launch is a limited edition product. So SMS people get first access and can get their flavor, their size, their whatever before it sells out. The third benefit of being on the SMS list is SMS exclusive deals. So I recommend doing something like this, and every once in a while, maybe every month or every 2 months, run a sale or a deal that's only for SMS subscribers. So make sure that you tell people that that's one of the perks of being on the SMS list. And so with those three, you're giving people enough value, enough benefits of being on the SMS list. Prep that campaign, and let's go to the very last step of this process. Okay, last step of setting up SMS marketing in Klaviyo is upgrading your account. So in your Klaviyo, go to account in the top right corner, and then go to, I think, billing. Nope, let's go back to overview. Oh, okay, right here, if you scroll down, there's email and SMS at the bottom. And all you wanna do is click upgrade SMS plan, and then choose the plan that fits you. If you're starting from zero, you can literally take the $5 per month plan. Depending on your traffic, if you have a lot of traffic, you will probably hit the limit of that plan pretty soon. So I recommend starting with 10 to 20 bucks per month and see where that takes you. If you're growing slower than you expected, you can always downgrade, but at least you won't have to be thinking that some of your subscribers might not be getting the welcome message just because you hit the SMS limit. But from here, just click change, and then once you're upgraded, you're good to go. Don't forget to go to your pop-ups and activate them If I said to activate your pop-ups earlier, you shouldn't have done that. You should activate your pop-ups, activate your welcome flow, and upgrade your SMS account at the same time. So those three things have to happen at the same time, or your upgrade account should happen earlier, so that by the time you activate things that ask people for their phone number and then send them messages, those are able to be live. And of course, they can't be live before you upgrade your account. So just make sure all of those things are coordinated. And congratulations, you now have SMS marketing in your Klaviyo account. I cannot wait to hear how it goes for you. Please comment on this video, and at the minimum, just give me a thumbs up in the comments, because it really, really helps the video. And if not, just ask me a question if there was anything that was unclear. If there is something that you want me to do a video on next, let me know. And if you have not already done so, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're watching this, you've made it this far. This was a super long video, so I would really appreciate a thumbs up, and make sure that you subscribe so that I can see you in the next video.